Welcome to the IICS Insiders Podcast. Are you a member of the Ipeka Integrated Christian School Community? Or do you know someone who is? Would you like to hear from people around the school and learn more about what they're doing? Join me, Annika Brown-Jones, the head of Curriculum and Instruction, every month as I interview IICS students, teachers, leaders, and many others from across our community. Come along to connect or reconnect to listen to IICS Insider stories of learning, growing, and engaging with those who care. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the IICS Insiders first episode. Today we will meet student insiders, 4 student insiders from the senior high, Peter, Nathan, Kenzo, and Felicia, who know IICS well. They share their experiences, joys, and fears, and we learn how IICS has helped them to build resilience over the years. Excellent to be here and to see you here this afternoon. And we are going to have a conversation about being an IICS insider on the very first episode of the IICS Insiders podcast. Now, for me, an insider is someone who has knowledge of the world, and in this case of IICS, and who can give a first-hand account of what the school community is like and what it means to be a part of the school community, what it means to belong to this community. And to talk with me today, I have 4 of our senior high students. I have with me Kenzo, I have Peter, Nathan, and Felicia. And they're all part of the year 11 or grade 11 DP.1, which is the first year of the diploma program that we offer here at IICS. So let's talk about how long you guys have been here. Let's start with Peter. I think you've been here the longest.
Yes, that's right. I've been in IICS for over 13 years. I've started attending IICS since I was back in nursery. And so far, all my memories and experience from the school has been amazing. I've met new teachers and friends and have spent time with them. So overall, my experience from the school has been splendid.
All right. And Kenzo?
Well, I've been in the school since junior high, which is grade 7. So up till now, it's roughly 4 years. And honestly, in this school, I've met good friends, great teachers, and they've all helped me grow to become what I am today.
Okay, and Felicia, you're the only female in the bunch here of students. Well, how long have you been here at IICS?
I have been in IICS for 4 years, since the first year of junior high, and right now I am studying in my 5th year.
Okay. And Nathan, I know that you've been here for a shorter period than all of your 3 friends. How long have you been here, Nathan?
I have been in IICS for 3 years. I moved here in the 9th grade.
Okay. And so I'm calling you guys IICS insiders, and I suppose I want to know, do you consider yourself an IICS insider? I mean, anybody can respond to that. What do you guys think? Are you IICS insiders, or aren't you?
I feel like I am because I know lots of people inside IICS. Mm-hmm. I know how they think. I talk with lots of people, hang out with lots of people.
Right, and so you have friends. Friendship is a huge part of it, isn't it? And you have, you communicate with many people, and you have similar ideas. And maybe even if your ideas are dissimilar, at least you can share and discuss and not be rejected, right? So that sense of belonging. Is anybody else, how do you guys feel? Peter, Kenzo, Felicia?
Well, I also say, I'm also quite an IICS insider myself because I'm quite involved in, clubs or activities from the school. So I'd say, I have some experience, so maybe I am an IICS insider.
Maybe I think you are, right? You are the president of the student council, and so ownership there is a major thing in terms of determining, what our student council will do, taking direction with that, and reflecting the student body here at IICS. Peter and Felicia, are you IICS insiders?
Yes, I think I consider myself as an ICS insider because I personally have first-hand experience what it's like to be an ICS student for a very long period of time. I've seen a lot of people who has left ICS before, and I've seen new students come. Like one of my friend Nathan here has been here since grade 9, and it's a very new thing for us, especially Nathan, to come into a new school environment. And what I like about the school very much is that we are able to communicate with each other and interact with each other very, very comfortably. And our environment here is not something that gives off tension towards new students. And
yeah, it's inclusive, right? It's inclusive to be a part of IICS. And Felicia, can we hear from you? What are your thoughts about this?
When you mention IICS insider, what comes into my mind is that an IICS insider is someone who is part of the IICS community, right? And since I am an IICS student, I consider myself to be an IICS insider because I am part of the school's community. What I do is that, I study every day. I interact with teachers, with friends, and the school stuff. So I am an IICS insider.
And that's excellent. That bond and that kinship is what you're mentioning, right, Felicia? Now, all of you here have said wonderful things. And to me, I would like to know a little bit more about actual experiences that you've had that really cause you to connect with everybody here, whether, it's in the classroom or in extracurricular activities, things that we do at school every day. Who wants to share? It could be a funny experience even, but something that connects us all, or something that you really remember as an outstanding memory being at IICS.
Well, I'll go first, I guess, since earlier Miss mentioned that I was the student council president, and honestly, it's one of the best things you could do as a student because, it allows you to work as a team in order to host activities that, activities or events that's done in the school. Like, for example, we did the SOD, which is the introductory event for new students toward the school. And also, we also did Independence Day, and there's also many events to come. And honestly, I just like, the clubs, how IICS allows the students to make their own clubs. And it's really free, Like, for example, I had a friend who made an art club, and it's something that's rarely done, but the school allows them to make it, and now it's running successfully. So that's what I like about IICS.
Yeah, so all that student-initiated activity and participation. Now, for our general audience, could you tell them what SOD stands for? Student.
SOD stands for Student Orientation Day. So basically, just a general, in a nutshell, what happens there is we just inform students on what happens in school, what can they expect, or subjects, teachers, and stuff like that. Then there's also fun activities where students can ice break and get to know the senior students, and hopefully make them more comfortable to be able to connect with the other students as well.
Right, and so again, that idea of inclusivity and really going out of the way to make sure that everybody finds a place, everybody finds something that they can do or connect with, right? Anybody else who wants to share that experience that they had that is iconic, meaning it is totally an IICS type of experience, or being here allowed them to have that experience?
Well, for me, when I was new to grade 9, the first day I came, I was really scared in the morning because when I came, nobody was there and we had to sit in the canteen. So I was sitting in the canteen alone, waiting for people to come in, and then I started seeing people come in, and then like it felt like my heart was beating like really, really fast. And then eventually, the friends that I hang out with right now, they called me over to their table to talk with them. And then it was like as if we have known each other for a long, long time because we bonded over things that we bonded over basketball, memes, all those kind of stuff. And after school, we played basketball together. And then after that, it was just like we were friends for like the rest of my time here. Also, in the 9th grade, there was a time when we went camping, 9th grade camping, and I feel like that really pulled me closer to my friends because we did different activities. Like I remember we went go-kart riding through like this muddy place, and then we like got all muddy, but like it was fun because we were together.
Right. And did you guys get muddy too? Were you guys involved, Peter?
Yes, very.
Yeah, we got muddy as well. I mean, it was kind of, an activity where we all had to do, so.
Right. Okay. Peter and Felicia, anything you want to share with us? Any experiences?
Well, for me, I like the idea how the school and teachers really cares for us and opens up to us. It's like anytime we need help or support the teachers, or for us, as we call them PCTs, they are there for us to and give us support us whenever we need them. And if we just need someone to hang out with or like to call or talk to, the teachers and the students are always there for us if we need assistance and mental support.
Okay. All right. Now, one of the things that sometimes as an outsider, if somebody's an outsider looking at the IICS school community, they may feel that it's a very homogenous community. And in many ways, it is homogenous, But then there is diversity in this community, and there is a uniqueness to each of you that may not appear on the surface. Well, I wanted to start with Nathan on this one because you are an expatriate student. You, in many ways, are a third culture kid because you're not growing up in your cultural birth nor your parents' cultures, but yet you came to IICS. How were you embraced, and how have you been able to embrace IICS and what goes on here, even though you are an expatriate student?
Well, when I moved here, I don't think people looked at me or talked to me different because I was an expatriate. I feel like because I was an expatriate, people were more interested to try to see what I was like. I feel like the IICS community is pretty diverse, not necessarily in race, but like in there are like different types of people. For example, there are the musicians, the artists, the athletes, and there are those that start their clubs and all of that. So IICS is not all the students are the same. It's just each student has different interests and different kind of viewpoints on the world and on school and on people around them.
Exactly. And so when we talk about diversity and we talk about uniqueness, sometimes you're right, Nathan, sometimes people just talk about ethnicities or race and so on, but there's so many other things. And I know the other students, Felicia, I don't know, or any of you, either Peter or Kenzo, how are you unique, but yet pretty much still a very important part of this community? Felicia?
Even though I, Peter, and Kenzo come from the same part of Indonesia, there is still some diversity among us in our personalities, hobbies, or interests. As for me, I'm an introvert. My hobby is drawing. I'm ambitious. I'm a visionary, and many other things. Meanwhile, Peter and Kenzo, they may be extroverts, or they may prefer playing basketball than drawing. So there are many differences that lie between us all, which makes us different even though we come from the same country.
Well, like I I agree that everyone has their own interests and unique talent that God has given them. And each of us has our own interests, which we are trying to develop. And IICS has given us the opportunity to do so, from the simplest things such as the club activities. Each club there is trying to give us an opportunity to develop our skill furthermore, and yet we are still all combined to as one society and community as IICS, because we all strive for one goal, which is to become a better version of ourselves every day. So I think everybody has their own interests and talents, and that's what I like about IICS, because IICS is here to provide support to help us develop further in our talents. And the fact that how we all are still part of a IICS community is that we all aim to become a better version of ourselves every day, despite our difference in our interests and talents.
Let's hear from our IICS ambassador with an update.
I can, you can, we can. It's derived from the hope and faith that our God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3 verse 20. We love to have you come over and visit our school, either virtually or in person. Follow our Instagram at Ipeka_integrated for more info.
And so Kenzo, in terms of extending on that idea of us being diverse in many ways, what would you add to that?
Well, I had a kind of similar experience with Nathan. So when I was new to the school, when I was in grade 7, and I just moved to the school, I thought that I would be the loner kid, or someone with zero friends whatsoever, because I have a rather unique interest. So I thought that there would be no one that shares the interest. But turns out IICS really has a lot of diversity, and I quickly found people who have similar interests. And not only that, I have many friends who has different interests, but we still connect.
Right. What are some of those interests, those unique interests that you've mentioned?
Well, to be honest, when I came to school, I liked anime a lot, so I thought it would be something that I could talk about or get friends with. But I thought that it would be something that is only me, or something that's not common in the school. But turns out there's other people who like anime as well. And there's also I also have other friends who like other media, Korean dramas and stuff like that. And we still bond over the same concept, and we just compare our interests and get to understand each other better.
Right. And so that's fun, because we've got Nathan even mentioning memes, and now you're mentioning Korean dramas. Is there anything that we can hear about you, the unique thing about you, Peter? Anything that we wouldn't have thought that Peter is interested in? It's like putting you on the spot, huh, Peter?
I really, really do enjoy mostly sports, and actually reading books, actually, or anything that related to reading. It can also be a Japanese manga or a series or novel. I actually, despite not looking as a person who likes to read books, actually enjoy those kind of activities.
Right. So you've got that balance of sporty, but then nerdy, because people like to say, oh, you're nerdy if you read books. Although I don't think people are nerdy when they read books. I think books are delightful, actually. But as we talk a little bit more about being here and about all that you have been doing and so on, we cannot overlook the issue of faith, because IICS is a faith-based school, and IICS is a Christian school, And so what I wanted to find out from you is how does that show up in the daily life of any student here at IICS? How does faith, Christianity, how does it show up?
Since the school has Christian values, those values are implemented in our everyday process of learning at school. And this is impactful towards me because I'm in the community of Christ followers, and it makes me feel more supported and encouraged to be closer towards God. Every day at the beginning and end of each class, we would pray to God and ask for His guidance so we can study well. We have chapel every week and hear the Word of God during the sermon. We have Bible lessons to enrich us with knowledge about God. We even have pastoral care groups every morning where we can share and discuss about our beliefs and experiences about Christ. These things are possible because ICS is a faith-based school. If the school never taught me these values, my relationship with God wouldn't be as close because it means I'm not constantly engaging with the Word of God. So, therefore, the school's Christian values do impact my life as a student and as an individual.
Well, IICS has it like puts a lot of Christ-like activities in its daily activities. Like for instance, before class even starts, we have this thing called a PCG or Pastoral Care Group, and every morning we have a morning devotion where the PCT or the Pastoral Care teacher would inform us or share with us like stories or just a morning devotion about to let us know more about him. And honestly, before I was in ICS, I came from a non-religious school, so my connection with him before I went to ICS, it's more of my parents is Christian, so I guess I'm Christian too, right? But with ICS, I've been introduced more, to learn about him, to get to know him, and now I feel like I'm closer to him. I read my Bible, I join sermons and just participate in activities that glorifies his name now.
Right, and so you were able to go deeper in your relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's good because that was the other thing I was thinking about. Sometimes in schools where it's a faith-based school, it's a Christian school, you go through all these different experiences like chapel and your devotions and so on. But how has it impacted you personally? Kenzo is saying that he has forged a stronger relationship with Christ. I don't know if either Nathan or Peter or Felicia later, how has it impacted you personally?
Well, I have a crazy story relating to this. So when I moved here in grade 9, actually, I almost failed the grade, and it was like my whole life was going downhill. I was fighting a lot with my parents. I was getting really mad, really angry, but I was like keeping it up inside me. And eventually, I feel like just trusting in God and praying. I prayed a lot to Him. My parents prayed to Him, prayed for me a lot, helped me get through that phase. And now that I'm through that phase, I passed grade 9. I went through grade 10 pretty easily, and now I'm in grade 11 thriving. I feel like that made me trust Him more. Now that whenever something doesn't go the way that I believe it should go, I know it's His plan to help me become a better person or the person He wants me to be. So in that way, I feel like IICS has brought me closer to God. Also, my friends around me, I don't think I've ever told Peter this story, but I remember because we were in the same house in grade 9, and one time we had to go to this place where there were disabled people, like people with autism and like lower IQ, and we had to do fellowship with them. And I remember there was this one girl in that place, and because she was screaming and acting like, just screaming and stuff, she was loud. People were scared to associate and talk with her, but like Peter right here, he went up to her, he grabbed her hand, and he was like playing with her. He was like drawing with her, and that time I saw it. I didn't tell him, but I was just like, that has to be the love of God through him. And then that inspired me to be kinder to the people around me and actually try to have that love also for the people around me.
Oh, wow. And I think that's what it actually means to be an IICS insider, that we could be sitting here talking about something like this, and you share something to Peter in this way. So Peter, how would you respond to what Nathan is saying?
Yeah, now that Nathan has told the story to me, it just reminded me directly. I just got a sudden flashback of that moment when we were in that place and how I treated that girl. I forgot her name, but yeah, when that time when we were asked to play along with the children over there, and I spotted her like in the corner. There's no one that was willing to go to her because she was in fact pretty loud compared to everyone else in the place. So I was like, yeah, why not? If everyone has a chance to be treated this way, she also has to have the exact same equal chance to be treated the same by others. So I came to her and I colored some drawings with her, and then later that Nathan in the end joined me with her, and we both treated her, and we just had a fun time. Nothing went wrong, and in fact, when we started drawing, she started to calm down a bit, and it's like she had fun drawing coloring and drawing with us. And yeah, it's just an amazing experience we had back then.
Right, and that's a wonderful experience to share God's love and to, share God's love with people who are not like yourselves in different places. And I think that's one of the parts of the IICS experience that I think really upholds you guys. And I want to hear from you, though, because we cannot end this without speaking about COVID-19 and the way that it interrupted school in so many ways and the way that schooling has shifted for you guys. So tell me, has your faith or has being part of this Christian school given you any sort of resilience to cope through that? How has it worked for you guys?
Well, I think that, being faithful to God is a daily challenge. It's not like you did it once and then you're done for the rest of your life. Every day you face new challenges, and every day new obstacles will test your faith, and how you act will show how strong your faith in God is. And although us being an online school, the teachers and students all around us are still connected together, and I love how the school also tries to interact with us students despite being online. And as already been said with Kenzo, even until now, we still have our daily PCG devotion, but which helps us give a daily constant reminder for us that God is always there. If you need Him, He's just out there, and all we need to do is reach out to Him.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else wants to share about that?
Well, I'll be honest that COVID-19 is hard on schools and everything with students, morale, how lessons are taught and everything. But IICS really tries to get out there to interact with the students. Like we had a teacher who actually hosted a game night, they would call it, where we were in a G meet, and we were playing games and just talking to get know each other for that whole session. And although now chapel is more, I would say, indirect, as in we're now introduced to simply YouTube sermons instead of the personal sermons that we used to have. But I would say that IICS still tries to introduce God to us as students, because there's still Bible class, there's still the devotion, like Peter said, and there's just a lot of things that reminds us, that God is there. And IICS teachers are always very supportive of the students. They still help us, still talk with us, and just tries to get to know each of us, even though we're separated by a computer screen.
Wonderful. And so, as we draw this excellent conversation to an end, I want to ask you a question, and you're going to fill in the dots. And the question is, you know that you are an IICS insider when? And it'll be cool if you'll be able to answer that with one word. But it's okay, no pressure. You know that you're an IICS insider when? Any takers? Who wants to go first? Or all together, if you wish. Well, I know that I'm an IICS insider when I can sit and have this lovely conversation with all of you. But Peter, you know you're an IICS insider when?
I know I'm an IICS insider when I'm experienced and involved with the community and society of IICS.
Okay. Nathan?
You know you're an IICS insider when you get homework every week.
Because we're a hard-working bunch of people. All right. And Kenzo.
You're ISS insider when you're a part of the community. Like when you join the school as a student, you're basically already part of the community. You can get to know friends, teachers, and they just make you feel like you're at home. It's like a second home to us.
Okay. And there you have it, folks. There you have it. We are IICS Insiders, and we are very happy that you joined us for this first episode of the IICS Insiders podcast. Don't forget to join us next month in October for episode 2. And thank you, everyone.